idea that no one is buying in the summer. This is a huge myth. I do not want you checking out of your business during the summer. I want you to know that people are still buying during those summer months. What actually changes in the summer isn't demand, it's noise. Welcome to Girls Make Bank, the podcast show for women who want to learn the art of selling for business and for life. I'm Jac White, seasoned sales professional, entrepreneur, and owner of Honeybees Group. Come back each week to hear inspiring stories from some of our favorite business owners. Learn how to take the ache out of selling and make bank. We're all in this together, so let's get started. Hi, friends, and welcome back to the Girls Make Bank podcast. If you are a woman running a service-based business, which most of you are, if you are running a service-based business, especially one where you have kids at home, then you know that summer can throw your entire schedule off. Between school being out, shifting routines, vacations, camps, it can almost feel impossible to stay on top of your business, let alone to stay on top of the sales in your business. I have a little one who is just a few weeks away from starting summer break, so I know what this feels like intimately, and I want to share a quick story. A couple of summers ago, I launched what I thought was probably the worst timed offer I had ever created. It was a business boot camp, and I launched in June and ran this boot camp through the months of June, July, and the beginning of August, which sounds totally wild and crazy. I almost didn't do it because I really kept thinking, like, nobody is going to buy in the summer. Everybody's out of the office. Everyone is chasing kids around. But something inside of me said, just test this anyways. Even if it's not good, just test, because I really didn't want to wait. And you know what happened? The most surprising thing to me is that it actually turned out to be one of the most engaged, one of the most focused programs I have ever run. The women who joined were ready. Their schedules were actually a little bit lighter, so they had some breathing room, and they wanted to use that time wisely. And that program is actually the beginning of what later has become my Honeybees Group membership. So it showed me that summer actually isn't a dead zone. It's a secret window of opportunity if you know how to use it right. So today I want to talk about how to prep your sales system for the summer in a way that is low stress, feel good, and actually works. So whether you are just starting to plan or if you are knee deep in sunscreen and snack runs, this episode is going to help you keep your sales flowing and keep your business top of mind while everything else seems to be quieting down. So let's talk about the biggest myth that holds so many business owners back in the summer, and really it used to trip me up too. And it's this idea that no one is buying in the summer, that your audience, that your customers have checked out, that sales dry up, and that really you might as well just wait until fall to get back into the game. This is a huge myth. I do not want you checking out of your business during the summer. I want you to know that people are still buying during those summer months. What actually changes in the summer isn't demand, it's noise. Most people stop selling because they believe others aren't buying, which is good news for you. It means the online space gets a little quieter. There's fewer launches, there's less pressure, and there's more room for your message to land. So when I ran that first boot camp 2 summers ago, I realized that I wasn't fighting for the attention that I am normally fighting for. I had space to speak clearly, to be heard. And what was surprising is the women who joined, they weren't just browsing, they were serious, they were focused, they were invested. If someone raises their hand to buy in the summer, they mean it. So instead of disappearing or waiting for the quote unquote right time, I want you to think about summer as your chance to build real momentum. Not real momentum just for summer, but also for a strong fall in Q4. Because the credibility, the visibility, the consistency that you stack up in the summer will create those big Q4 wins. So let's get into it. What is the key to setting yourself up to stay consistent and visible in the summer without burning out and without getting the chance to actually enjoy a summer? It actually starts right now in spring. So even if you've got a few weeks before school is out, this is your window to build your summer sales foundation. So let's walk through a few simple but high impact things that you can be doing now to prep your sales systems so that you're not scrambling later. First things first, I want you to define your summer offers. What do you want to be selling in June, July, and August? This doesn't have to be a brand new program. In fact, I recommend keeping it pretty simple. Revisit an existing offer, package something smaller, create a seasonal workshop or a limited time service. Think lighter touch, quicker wins, or things that people can even work on in 30-minute pockets throughout the weeks and the months. So, right now, set some time to plan your offer strategy for the next 3 months so that you know what you're selling over the summer. Now that you know what you're selling, the second thing to do is to batch your sales content. This is one of the biggest energy savers that I do. I am a big fan of batching content, but especially during the summer and the holiday months when everything seems sort of out of schedule and out of ordinary. Sit down right now while you still have relatively normal hours and draft all of your sales content, your posts, your emails, your stories, whatever you normally use to show up and sell, batch create it now. Now, you don't need to write an entire quarter's worth of content, but if you can be 3 to 4 to 5 weeks ahead, you can make a huge difference when you're juggling swimming lessons, snack duty, camp time, which never seems to be as long as school hours. I'm not sure why. So I really recommend batch creating your sales content for the summer. The third thing is I want you to automate what you can. And I mean everything and anything you can automate. So that's scheduling emails, batching social posts, even pre-recording any sales videos or webinars. You don't have to disappear to feel calm in the summer months. You just want to take the decision making off of your plate. So you know what offers you want to offer. You have your content. Go ahead and automate the distribution of that content. You can even schedule reminders to show up live a few times during the summer so that it's built into your calendar. I just invested in hiring someone to help me set up systems in my business so that all of the automation and all of the workflows are more seamless. And it makes such a huge difference in my ability to move faster, to move easier, to serve my clients better. And I promise you, the more you can automate upfront, the less stress you will feel this summer. And the fourth thing that you can do is pre-schedule time for promotion. So it's very easy to get stuck in the creation mode and forget to actually invite people into your offer. You've heard me talk about calendar blocking before. It's something that I do often, and it really helps me make sure that I am prioritizing necessary things in my business. I encourage you to set aside even just 1 or 2 blocks of time each week to promote. So, whether that's sending an email, going live, DMing a few warm leads, these small touch points build real momentum. All of these things are not about turning summer into a sales sprint. It's about setting up a system in your business so that your sales keep humming, even when your routine doesn't. Okay. So let's talk about what to actually do this summer, especially if you're maybe listening to this episode a little late and you didn't get around to prepping as much as you wanted to. So, whether you are operating on 40 hours a week, 20, 10 hours a week of work, or maybe you actually are squeezing work into nap time, I still want you to show up and sell without overexhausting yourself and without feeling guilty about, the trade-offs that you have to make. So, let's talk about some low lift, high return ways that you can stay visible and sell smartly during the summer. So, number one, start with your core offers. I mentioned this before. You don't need to reinvent anything. Just keep reminding people of how you help, who it's for, and what it solves. Your audience and your target clients need repetition. You're not being annoying. Okay. When you repeat what it is you do, how you help, who it's for, what you solve, that's not annoying. It's actually being really clear. And summer's slower pace, remember, everybody slows down on their sales messages during the summer. Use that to your advantage. That slower pace actually helps your message sink in deeper. So, if you are testing anything new for summer or you have a special promo, that's great, but it's not required. Even if you're not creating anything new for summer, keep reminding people of what it is you do and how you can help solve their problem. The other thing that summer is really perfect for is leaning in to storytelling. It is the perfect time to show more of your life, more of your values, and really dig in to your journey. You can use casual posts, quick stories that tie your offer into real moments. Maybe it's a behind the scenes of working during camp pickup or a voice note about what's lighting you up in your client work right now. Use storytelling as a way to test your message and kind of breathe new life into your content. And speaking of testing new messages, summer is a great time to really breathe room into experimenting with new messages. There's less pressure, there's fewer eyes. So take the time to try a new angle on your offer. Use different language, shift how you position your outcomes. Think of summer as this lab where you get to observe and learn and maybe not worry about being so perfect. Another thing you can do that is low lift and high impact is repurpose, repurpose, repurpose. You do not need to create fresh content every day. Use summer as a chance to pull from your old posts, your past launches, your email lists, and tweak something a little bit. Add a new intro, tweak the CTA, and send it on its way. It is good to go. Most people have not seen or do not remember the content you are putting out, so do not be afraid to repurpose. Another summer strategy to keep your sales humming is actually to use lower lift strategies. So during the summer, it's a great time to push those full-blown launches and, complex funnels to the side and try personal outreach, mini invites, voice messages. You'd be surprised how a well-placed, genuine DM or voice message can convert better than a perfectly designed sales page, especially in the winter when most people are spending more time away from their screens. So think about what kind of personal one-to-one, low lift sales strategies you can take to bring people into your sales process and funnel. And finally, I want you to stay in the room. Even if you are only working a few hours a week or working a reduced schedule in the summer, make it count. Attend a networking event when you can. Show up for your community. Join a live call. Keep your energy circulating. You don't have to do everything, but you need to pick something and stick with it. So I want to close by saying that summer doesn't have to be all or nothing. You don't need to be in full hustle mode to keep your business moving. Certainly, with my son being out of school, I don't have the capacity to be in my regular full hustle mode, but you do need to keep staying visible. You do need to stay in motion, even if it's small, intentional things that you're doing throughout the summer. So consistency doesn't mean doing the most, but you do need to do what's aligned, what's possible, and what is repeatable. So keep showing up lightly, genuinely, even if it's just a few times a week. You will stay top of mind. You will continue to build trust. And come fall, you won't be starting from scratch. In fact, you will probably, hopefully, I bet, make sales throughout the summer in ways that you didn't expect. The other thing about summer that I want to throw in here is that it's actually an amazing time to reset your mindset. Give yourself permission to do things differently, to try something new, to take up space in a new place, even if it feels like everyone else has checked out. There is absolutely power in that. And remember, you are building something sustainable. These summer months are part of the whole picture, not a break from it. So keep showing up in the summer. Do the prep work now to make it easy for you to show up in the summer, and make sure that you don't pump the brakes on selling, even though it feels like maybe you're not sure if anybody's going to buy. People still buy in the summer. I hope that this episode has given you some clarity and energy on how to move through the summer with more confidence and to keep sales flowing no matter what your schedule looks like. If this resonated with you, I want to invite you to join my email list. It's where I share more tips on setting up feel-good sales systems, selling in a way that feels like you, and staying consistent even in the busy seasons. You can find a link in the show notes below, or just head over to honeybeesgroup.co. And if you are taking one small action after this episode, whether it's batching a post, resharing an offer, or mapping out your summer goals, tag me or send me a DM. I would love to cheer you on. You've got this. And here's to having a really salesy, low-key summer. Thank you for listening to this episode of Girls Make Bank. If you like what you've heard, please remember to subscribe, like, and follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. Please review and share our show to help spread the word and help your girls make bank. And I'd love to hear from you. Connect with me on LinkedIn or Instagram, or visit honeybeesgroup.co. Until next time, friends.